How's everybody going today? I out working on my garden today, and man, I'm running way behind this year. We had a lot of rain in the spring, and just now kind of getting around to getting everything done. So let me bring you along and let me show you what's going on for the day. We've got some cool things coming up in the garden, and let's take a look. All right, so I got my pole bean little fencing put up. That is a hog panel, and it's 16 foot long, and got another one over here too. This is the first year I've ever tried pole beans, and I think the species is a rattlesnake pole beans, what they're called. And I went ahead and planted some regular bush beans this year. They're just now starting to come up, and we've had a lot of rain this year. And so as you can see, I've got a lot of plastic down. This is the second year that I've done this, and so far I really like it. It's pretty much a maintenance-free garden. It's really easy to take care of. So I've got 2 rows of bush beans here. I'm gonna have 2 trellises of pole beans. This row right here, I've got red potatoes. And I saw something that you can actually, instead of hilling your potatoes, basically you just go down around 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, and you plant them and you bury them. And then once they start coming to the surface, then you throw some straw around them to go ahead and keep the weeds down. Right next to them here is I've got some white potatoes, and this is the first year I've ever planted potatoes, period. And this one I'm trying a little different because I planted those potatoes only about 2 inches deep. And then I've got all these leaves from my neighbor. He's got a big old pile of leaves that he mulches up every year like I do, except he keeps it in a big pile. And I figured I'd just go ahead and lay a big old, that's about 4 to 6 inches of leaves on top. Some people use straw, some people use hay. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see which one does better, either 6 or 8 inches deep or 2 inches deep, and see what's going on there as they start to come up. I've got a full row of tomatoes, and I actually started these out for the first time ever in seed with a little I don't know what you call that, little UV light for growing plants and stuff on the indoors. So anyhow, started those in seed, and they're coming along. They're pretty slow, as you can see. I've got this one right here. This dude here ain't gonna make it. I think he's a little green, but got a few that's coming up that's pretty good little size, and so I'm kind of happy with those. And I went ahead and planted just some regular seeds out here on the far end down there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually planted those in seed, and I'm just gonna see how they do, just starting in seed out here in the garden. This row right here, I've got a bunch of bell peppers. Same deal here, they're starting to come up, and I've got a whole row of those. And down on the end, I've got a little trellis going. This is for my sweet sugar peas, and these are a vine type of pea, and they're coming up really well. Starting to grow, and they'll actually start climbing up this right here is actually just a piece of a cattle panel, so they're going to start growing up it. And but yeah, they're really starting to come on. Then once they come on pretty good, and then I'll just mulch them with some leaves, keep the weeds back, and they should be doing really well. I've got 3 squash plant coming up, and I've got 4 cucumbers coming up, and they're starting to turn out pretty decent. Starting to get some growth to them. So anyhow, man, if you've never tried plastic, I would definitely do it. It has made gardening for me so much easier, just because of the fact that I don't have to come out and weed this dude. I don't have to run a tiller across it or nothing. I just keep the plastic down, and maybe about once a week I'll go through and I'll pick out any tall grass that's kind of growing in between the plants. But my plan is, once those plants come up, I'm just going to throw some mulched up leaves around them, and I think it'll help kind of hold the moisture in, maybe give them a little nutrients as well when it rains. Last year we kind of had a dry summer. Last year wasn't too bad. I only had to water my garden maybe twice, and that was my tomato plants, and I just kind of went right to the opening and just kind of put some water down each one. But this plastic actually holds a lot of moisture, and I was kind of really impressed with that. I figured it would actually maybe get a little dry and plants not get enough moisture, but man, it actually did very well. So I'm very well pleased with this, and very happy how it's turning out. And man, these leaves will be good to go for next year. I'll just till them up in the garden next spring and call it good. So very happy with it. And if you haven't ever tried plastic, go for it. I'd give it a shot. And what I did for my actually holes is my bush bean holes right here. I just laid a 2x4 down. I run a string line. I still got my string line right there. I just laid a 2x4 right down there, and I run a utility knife and just traced right along the 2x4 and cut out the opening and threw that away. And I did have some landscape spikes from some weed block material that I put around my house when I put my little rock slash ornamental garden in, and the little landscape spikes work really well. I've actually used a little bit last year. I used some nails, and I had a really big hit on them. I just stick them down in there. It's about a 3-inch nail. And then I did take my plastic up at the end of the fall. I just pulled the nails, pulled all the landscapes, and just rolled it on up, and I stored it in my shed. I figured that it will actually get a lot of nutrients, kind of air out the soil a little bit throughout the winter. So anyhow, guys, I'll keep you in touch on how this thing's going throughout the summer, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't, go to my channel, hit the like and subscribe button. I sure do appreciate it. Got some pretty cool things on there. Just got back from some nice trips, and if you like diesel conversions and a little bit of else that I do, man, just check it out. Maybe you'll learn something, and because I know by watching other people, I learn as well. So hey, thanks for watching, and God bless, and good luck on your garden this summer.